Hi, welcome to class today. Um, Today the class is going to be focused around the water element. So we're going to be focusing a little bit more on the transitions and creating a fluidity, a continuity in our movements today, and then really connecting these movements with our breath. So for today's class, you might want to have a few blocks available, and you can just place those towards the front of the mat. We're going to begin on all fours, just warming up the spine. So you can bring the hands beneath the shoulders or walk them a little bit further forward if you feel any tension in your wrists. The knees are hips width distance apart and the feet disappear behind the knees. And as you inhale, begin to drop the belly, pull the tailbone up, gently shift the weight slightly forward, gazing forward, opening the heart. As you exhale, begin to round through the spine, bringing the chin in towards the chest, pressing your hands into the floor so that you're starting to really activate into the scapulae. Inhaling, dropping the belly, gazing forward. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze forward, open the heart. Exhale, round through the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, opening the heart, gazing forward. And exhaling, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. Continue to move here in cat-cows, or maybe if you'd like to, you can begin to incorporate movements of the hips from side to side. Maybe dropping the head, bringing the ear over towards one shoulder, rolling the neck gently. Allowing your breath to guide you and coordinating your movements with your breath. Not really paying attention to how these poses look, but more how you feel. You are more than welcome to stay in any pose for as long as you need to. Moving like water, creating fluidity in your movements. And eventually, with your next breath, come through center. Flip your hands so that your fingertips are facing your knees. Tuck your toes. If this is too intense, you can walk the knees forward a little bit. And then continue to move with the roundness and the curvature of the spine, except as you inhale, round through the spine and shift forward. And then as you exhale, grip the mat with your fingertips, keeping the toes tucked. Gently drop the belly towards the top of the thighs and bring your weight back. Inhale, shifting the weight forward, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. Exhale, shifting the weight towards the back, gazing forward, opening the heart, pressing the chest forward. Shifting the weight forward, rounding through the spine, chin to chest. And exhaling, gazing forward. One more like this. Shift the weight forward, round through the spine. And exhale, shift the weight towards the back. Come back into a neutral spine, and now flip the hands so that the palms are facing up towards you. Fingertips are facing towards one another. Readjust your knees as needed. Here you can keep the toes tucked or untucked, and then begin to straighten through the arms. And then slowly begin to bend the elbows, pull the fingertips in towards one another as you work the forehead down towards the floor. Gently press yourself back up, straightening through the fingertips, straightening through the arms. Bending into the elbows, trying to keep a neutral spine. Really warming up the wrists here. Move with your own breath. A few more. And coming back into a neutral position, bring your hands so that your fingertips are facing forward. Grip the mat with your hands, with your fingers. Tuck the toes and gently press yourself up into a downward facing dog. Continue to work with the movement here. Work with the breath. Bend into one knee and then the other. Shifting your weight a little bit from side to side. Coming back through center, lift the heels off of the floor. Shift your weight forward as you gaze forward, rounding through the spine. Bend into the knees, begin to drop the belly, pulling the tailbone up, shifting the weight back towards the back of the mat. Creating these spinal waves here, moving like water. Shift the weight forward, drop the knees, drop the belly, shift the weight towards the back. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, drop the belly, shift the weight towards the back. Inhale, shift the weight forward. And exhale, drop the belly. Gaze forward, bring yourself towards the back of the mat. Few more here. Inhale, going forward, rounding through the spine. Exhale, dropping the belly, dropping the knees, shifting the weight towards the back of the mat. Coming back into a downward facing dog, press the left foot into the floor, bring the right leg overhead. Bend into the right knee, shift the weight forward, bring the right foot in between your hands. Bring the left knee down onto the floor. Press the belly to the top of the right thigh as you inhale, gaze forward. As you exhale, coming into a standing splits, bringing the left leg up, dropping the head towards the right knee. Inhale, shift forward, flex the left toes, bring the left toes down to meet the right. Exhale, micro bend into the knees, bringing the head down towards the knees. Inhale, arms overhead, gaze at your fingertips. Exhale, right hand to your left wrist, bringing your arms over towards the right side. Inhale, coming back through center, elongating the spine. Exhale, hands down towards the floor, micro bend into the knees, drop the head. Inhale as you gaze forward, elongate the spine. Bring the right leg to an L shape, bring the right leg back behind, drop the right knee down, press the belly to the top of the left thigh as you gaze forward with your inhalation. Exhale, coming into plank. Shifting even further forward. Micro bend into the knees, press yourself towards the back of the mat, coming into down dog. Inhale, bring your left leg up. Exhale, left knee to nose, bring the left foot in between the hands with control. Drop the right knee down onto the floor. Inhale, press the chest forward. Exhale, come onto the left leg, bring the right leg overhead, standing splits. Inhale, flex the right foot, gaze forward, bring the right foot down to meet the left. Exhale, micro bend into the knees, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead, elongate the spine. Exhale, left hand to right wrist, bring the arms over towards your left side rather. Inhale, coming back through center, elongate the spine, pull the belly in. Exhale, hands down towards the floor, micro bend the knees, drop the head. Inhale as you gaze forward, elongate the spine, bring the left leg up and back. Drop the left foot towards the back of the mat, bending into the right knee. Inhale, press the belly to the top of the right thigh as you gaze forward. Exhale, walk the right foot to the back of the mat, shifting even further forward in your high plank. Drop the knees down to the floor, gently arch the spine, press yourself towards the back of the mat in downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, bring the knees onto the floor, arching through the spine, bending into the elbows, keeping the elbows close to your ribs. Bring your chest and chin down. Bring the tops of the feet to the floor. Inhale, coming into high cobra, gaze forward. Exhale, returning back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, right knee to nose. Bring the right foot in between your hands. Bring the left knee down. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, standing splits. Inhale, flex the left foot. Hips are squared. Drop the left foot down to meet the right. Exhale, micro bend into the knees, forward fold. Inhale, arms overhead, elongate the spine. Exhale, right hand to left wrist. Bring your arms over towards the right. Inhale, coming back up through center. Exhale, hands down towards the floor. Micro bend the knees, bring the head down. Inhale, as you gaze forward, elongate the spine. Exhale, right leg back behind you, bend into the left knee, bring the right leg down, right knee down. Gaze forward with your inhalation, belly presses to the top of the left thigh. Exhale, left foot back to meet the right. Shift the weight forward, drop the knees, drop the belly, shift the weight towards the back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee to nose, bring the left foot in between your hands with control, drop the right knee down. Inhale, press the belly to the top of the left thigh, gaze forward. Exhale, standing splits, right leg overhead, bring the head towards the knee. Inhale, flat back, right foot down to meet the left, gaze forward. Exhale, micro bend the knees, drop the head. Inhale, arms overhead, elongate the spine. Exhale, left hand to right wrist, coming over towards the left side with your arms. Inhale, arms overhead, elongate the spine. Exhale, hands down towards the floor, drop the head. Inhale as you gaze forward, elongate the spine. Exhale, walk the left foot towards the back of the mat. Drop the left knee onto the floor, bend into the right knee, gaze forward. Bring the right foot back to meet the left. Shift the weight forward, high plank. Bending into the knees without bringing them to the floor. Begin to arch through the spine, shifting your weight towards the back of the mat, downward facing dog. Inhale, high up onto the toes, gaze forward. Shift the weight to the front of the mat. Bend into the knees at the same time, bringing them onto the floor. Begin to arch through the spine. Bending into the elbows, bringing the chest and chin onto the floor. Inhale, tops of the feet onto the floor. Begin to bend into the knees. And then begin to search for your feet with your hands. Working towards bringing your heels to your glutes. This can be really intense on the low back and on the neck. Staying here, breathing. Gently release the feet, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, bring the pelvis down, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high, bend into the right knee. Begin to point the right knee up, bringing the right heel down towards the right glute. Opening in the hips here. Maybe you come up onto the right fingertips, gaze below your right armpit. Flex into the right foot, gaze forward, shift onto the left toes with control. Bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Walk the left foot slightly back. Inhale, right arm overhead, gaze at your right fingertips. Exhale, bend into the right elbow, creating a twist here. Right toes are on the floor, right knee is pointing forward. Inhale, right arm out in front of you. Bring the torso to the inside of the right leg. Exhale, press yourself to the back of the mat, coming into Skandasana. Inhale, spine is long, right leg is super active. Exhale, flip yourself to the back of the mat, bringing the right knee down onto the floor. Straightening through the left leg, flex the left toes as you gaze forward. And then as you exhale, work your belly to the top of the left thigh. Bring the forehead down. Inhale, elongate the spine, gaze forward. Exhale, press into the left foot. Shift your weight forward, coming into a standing split. Inhale, L shape with the legs, square the hips off, flex the right toes, bring the right toes down to meet the left. Bending into both knees, coming into chair pose. Extend the arms overhead. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend into the knees a bit more. Inhale, bending into the elbows, pressing the heart forward, opening the chest, gazing up. Exhale, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, arms out in front of you. Inhale, bring the arms overhead, elongate the spine. Exhale, bring the hands towards your low back without really pressing the hips forward. Begin to work the elbows towards one another, pressing the chest up. Inhale, back through center. Bring the arms out towards the side. Exhale, extend the left leg back behind you, coming into this kind of floating airplane with the arms extended. Bend into the right knee, bring the left foot towards the back. Inhale, coming into crescent lunge. Exhale, opening into warrior two on the right, gaze towards your right fingertips. Inhale, shift towards the back, coming into skandasana on the left toes, on the left foot rather, gaze towards your right toes. Elongate the spine. Exhale, shift your weight towards the front of the mat. Bring the left foot back to meet the right. Shift the weight forward, bringing the knees down onto the floor at the same time, arching through the spine, bringing the chest and chin down. Bring the pelvis down onto the floor, coming into high cobra. And exhale, bringing the hips up into downward facing dog. Inhale, high up on the toes, shift the weight forward. Exhale, micro bend into the knees, bring the tailbone up, shift the weight towards the back of the mat. Inhale, shifting the weight forward. And exhaling, shifting the weight back. Inhaling, shifting forward. And exhaling, shifting the weight towards the back. A few more waves like here, shifting the weight forward. Exhale, shifting the weight back. One more, inhale. And exhale. Press the right foot into the floor. Begin to raise the left leg overhead, immediately bending into the left knee. Left heel towards the left glute. Maybe you come up onto your left fingertips and gaze below your left armpit. Active in the right quadriceps. Right kneecap is facing forward. Flex into the left toes. Gaze forward, high up onto your right toes. Bring the left knee towards your left tricep. Bring your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Walk the right foot back slightly. Inhale, bring the arm overhead. Exhale, bending into the left elbow, gazing towards the back. Inhale, extend the left arm out in front of you, bringing the torso to the inside of your left thigh. Exhale, shifting your weight into skandasana at the back of the mat. Elongating the spine, inhale. Exhale, shift your weight towards the back side of the mat, bring the left knee down. Extend the right foot. Right toes are flexed, right quadriceps are active as you gaze forward. And then as you exhale, work towards bringing your belly down towards the top of your right thigh. Inhale, gaze forward. Press the weight into your right foot, coming into standing splits on the right side. Bring the left leg overhead. Exhale, flex through the left toes. Bring the left foot down to meet the right. Extend the spine forward. Bend into the knees at the same time, coming into chair pose. Inhale, elongate the spine. Exhale, hands through your heart center, high up onto your toes. Press the sitting bones slightly back, bending into the knees even more. Pull the inner thighs really in towards one another. Inhale. Bend even deeper into the knees. Exhale, release. Extend the arms overhead, gaze at your fingertips. Bring the hands towards the low back or onto the glutes. Begin to pull the elbows in towards one another in order to elevate the chest. Inhale here, opening the heart. Exhale, back through center. Extend the arms on both sides in line with your shoulders. And then as you begin to tilt the head forward, raise the right leg back behind. Bend into the left knee, bring the right foot towards the back. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, warrior two. Left knee is bent, left hip is open, right foot is parallel with the back of the mat. Release the shoulders, gaze towards your left fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, press yourself towards the back of the mat, rather the front of the mat, into the right knee for Skandasana. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your hands to the front of the mat. Circle your body towards the front. Bring your right foot back to meet the left. Shift the weight forward. Drop the knees onto the floor. Gently arch through the spine. Bend into the elbows. Bring the chest and chin down. Inhale, coming into Cobra. Separate the legs as much as you'd like to here. Press the chest forward. And exhale, coming into a downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, micro bend into the knees. Drop the belly, press the tailbone up. Inhale, shift the weight forward. And exhale. Inhale, shift the weight forward. And exhale, shift the weight back. A few more like this, moving like water. Focusing on these small transitions, noticing how the breath feels, how the body feels. Press the left foot into the floor. Inhale, raise the right leg. Bend into the right knee, right heel to right glute. Square the hips, extend the leg, raise the left heel, gaze forward. Flex that right foot, and with control, with a straightened leg, bring the right foot towards the center of the mat. Inhale, extend the left leg, gaze forward. Exhale, left knee to nose round the spine. You can use blocks here if you'd like to, below your hands. Inhale, gaze forward, elongate the spine. Exhale, Shiva squat, left knee behind, right bending into both knees. Inhale, extend, gaze forward. Exhale, Shiva squat. Slowly, slowly, with control, drop the left knee onto the floor. Extend the right leg back towards the back of the mat, coming into half pigeon. So you can use blocks here as well if you'd like to. And what you can do is, if you really feel that your whole body is leaning over quite a lot to the left side rather in this case, you can raise the left glute and then place the block under it so the hips are squared. We're going to kind of work through a little bit of activation in the inner thighs and in the pelvic floor. So keep the hands out in front, and then you can stay on your fingertips. You can also place blocks under your hands if the floor feels far. The left foot the heel can be in towards your right hip, or in some cases, maybe you're working your left leg rather, to be parallel, the shin with the top of the mat. Totally depends on your hip mobility. The back leg is extended back behind you. Begin by pressing yourself up, squaring off the hips by pressing your right hip slightly forward. And then from here, without losing that sense of activation, begin to slowly lower both of the hips down at the same time. And then staying here is option 1. Option 2 would be to place the left hand a little bit more towards the left side, so you're kind of using it for a little bit of support at the moment. Begin to bend into the right knee. Bring the right arm towards the right foot to the inside of the right foot. So option to stay right here. You can bring your left hand to your left knee. Keep pulling your right hip forward. Working towards squaring the shoulders towards the front of the mat and noticing what it does to your right psoas, to those super deep core muscles on the right side. If this feels like enough of a stretch for today, then stay here. Option 2 is to bring your right fingertips so that they're facing the front, the same direction as your toes. And then begin to pull the right heel in towards your right hip, continuing to square the shoulders towards the front of the mat. So making sure you're not dipping over towards the left side. You still want that activation in the inner thighs. The left hand can be here. The block can be under the left glute. Option to stay here, or if you want to get a little bit more into some water poses, you can bring the right toes to the inside of your right elbow, extend the left arm overhead, and then bring the left hand to meet the right, coming into mermaid pose. Gazing forward, the spine is long, with the head press into the arms. Release any tension in the glutes, in the lower back. Inhale and exhale. Wherever you are, try to reconnect with your breath. Inhale and exhale. A few more breath cycles here as you inhale. And then as you exhale, wherever you are, slowly begin to release the pose, moving the block over towards the side, bringing the right hand down onto the floor, walking the right knee in slightly, and then shifting the weight towards the back of the mat. So now bringing the right foot over towards the left side, walk your glutes to the back, coming into a seated twist here. So the left knee is pointing up, the right, both of the glutes are on the side, the right foot is on the left side. You can also bring a block here under your left sitting bone. What we really want to make sure is that we're pressing with the left toe firmly into the floor, and this helps to really push the left sitting bone into the floor. As you inhale, elongate the spine, extend the right arm overhead. Bring the left hand back behind you as an extension of your spine. And then as you exhale, bring the right knee to the outside of your left knee, coming into a twist here. Notice what's happening with your shoulders. Are they crunching up next to your ears? Can you push yourself away from the floor with your left hand, helping you work a little bit further forward while also elongating the spine? Inhale. And exhale. Gently releasing the pose, shifting the weight towards the front of the mat, coming back onto your left knee. Walk the hands forward, extend the right leg, coming into bird dog. Bend into the right knee, bring the right knee to nose round the spine. Inhale, extend, gaze forward. And exhale, round through the spine, knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round through the spine, knee to nose, and then bring the right foot in between your hands. Bring the right hand to the inside of your right foot, come onto the left toes, pivot the back foot, and then coming into an extended side angle pose. So you're bringing now the left arm overhead in line with your nose. The left foot is parallel or about 45 degrees in. The right hand is to the inside of your right foot. Take an inhalation, gaze towards your left fingertips. Exhale, keeping that bend in the right knee, bring yourself up, bend into the left knee. Toes are facing away from one another. Bring your hands together through heart center in goddess pose. Really bending into those knees. Pulling the tailbone slightly down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, extend, straightening through the legs. Extend the arms away from the ears. Bring the left foot back in towards the center. Pivot your body slightly forward, coming into triangle pose. Gaze towards your left fingertips. Inhaling here. Exhale, bring the hands back to frame the right foot high up onto the left toes. Bring the right leg up, bringing it towards the back of the mat, meeting the left foot. Shift the weight forward. Exhale, micro bend into the knees, arch through the spine, shift the weight back. Inhale forward. And exhale towards the back. One more like this. Inhale forward. And exhale. Press the weight into the right foot. Bring the left leg overhead. Bend into the left knee. Left knee towards your left heel towards your left glute. Gaze forward, straighten through the left leg, high up onto the right toe. Square the hips with control. Bring the left foot in between the hands. Come onto the left leg, coming into an L shape with the legs as you gaze forward. Exhale, bending into the right knee, bringing the knee to nose, round through the spine. Inhale, extend. Exhale, Shiva squat, bringing the right knee behind the left, bending into both knees. Inhale, extend, gaze forward. And exhale, Shiva squat. Slowly, slowly, with control, drop the right foot, right knee onto the floor. And then begin to pivot the left leg back behind, coming into a half pigeon on the right. So you might have to readjust yourself on the mat a little bit. But we're going to, again, work on making sure that the hips are squared here. So this can mean placing a block under your right glute. This can simply mean pressing yourself up, pressing your left hip slightly down, and then working the hips down at the same time. You can stay here, checking in on those squared hips, noticing the sensations. You can begin to press the right fingertips a little bit towards the outside of the mat. Bend into the left knee. Bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot. Option to stay here, gazing maybe forward. Option to pull the left heel in towards the left hip, and then left fingertips facing the front of the mat as well. Gazing forward. Maybe you place your right hand on your right knee. Maybe you want to go into mermaid pose, which would bring your left foot to the inside, the inside of your left elbow, and then kind of like pull your leg in, your foot in, raise your right arm overhead, and then bring your fingers to touch, gazing towards the front. Every side is going to be different. Maybe you're going to have to readjust yourself a little bit on this side. Staying wherever you are for a few breaths, connecting with the sensations. Inhale. And exhale. with the next inhalation, gently release the back leg. Bring both hands towards the front of the mat. If you have the block under your sitting bone, remove the block. Bring your left knee forward and a little bit towards the inside of your right foot. Swing the left foot over towards the right. Press yourself towards the back, bringing both of the sitting bones onto the floor. Right toes are pressing into the floor. Right hand back behind you. Inhale, left arm overhead. Exhale, bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Press yourself away from the floor with your right hand. This will help elongate the spine, making sure you're not tilting towards the back. Intensifying the twist. Keep pressing the right big toe into the floor. This helps ensure that your right sitting bone remains on the floor. Pull the scapulae in towards one another, the shoulder blades in towards one another. Relax the left knee on the floor. Inhale, gaze towards the back. And exhale, gaze forward. Walk yourself forward. Dropping the right knee down onto the floor, walking the hands out in front of you, and then extending the left leg. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, round the spine, knee to nose. Inhale, gaze forward, elongate the spine. Exhale, round the spine, knee to nose. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, elongate or round. Drop the left foot in between the hands. Bring the left hand to the inside of your left foot. You can also put a block under your hand here. Bring the right knee off of the floor and then pivot the back foot. So the alignment is going to be your left heel with the arch of your right foot. And then begin to extend the right arm overhead. You want to kind of imagine that your body is like a piece of paper that's trying to fit in between a very narrow space. So you're in a line from the heel all the way through the crown of the head, gazing up towards your right fingertips. Inhaling here. Exhale, raise yourself up without straightening the left knee. Gather the hands together in front of your heart. Bend into the right knee, coming into goddess pose. Elongate the spine as you inhale. Exhale, bending into the knees a bit more. Inhale, extend the legs, pivot the back foot again, extend the arms. Shift the weight forward, coming into triangle pose. On the left, gaze towards your right fingertips. Inhaling here. Exhale, bring the hands down to frame the left foot. Pivot the back toes so they're facing the front of the mat, high up on the right toes, and then slowly drag your left foot back to meet the right. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, micro bend into the knees, bring yourself towards the back of the mat. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, shift the weight forward. Drop the knees at the same time. Open the knees so they're about hips width distance apart. Toes are on the floor. Bring yourself up. We're going to work our way into camel pose. So bring your chest. We're going to focus more on bringing the chest up versus pushing the hips forward. So we don't want to create that sensation of any tension in the lower back, any crunching sensation. So if that's what you start to feel, then come out of the pose and go into a variation with your hands on your glutes and just pressing the chest up. If you want to go into the full variation, bring your right hand to your right ankle, left hand to your left ankle. Keeping the chin tucked in, pull the shoulder blades in towards one another, and then just begin to raise the chest even higher, separating the ribs from one another. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, spine is long, and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, keep the head where it is, bringing your hands to your glutes, untuck the back toes, and then gently drape the belly over top of the thighs, bringing the forehead onto the floor, releasing the arms alongside your body. Gently press yourself up. Bring yourself towards the front of the mat, bringing the knees in towards one another. With your hands, move your calves over towards the sides. Bring your feet a little bit out towards the sides, and then drop your sitting bones on the inside of your heels, on the inside of your feet. Coming into hero pose, so you can stay here with the hands making the fingertips making their way towards the top of the knees. The chin is slightly tucked in. The spine is long, the belly is active. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you can bring your hands to the arches of your feet and bring the elbows down onto the floor, making sure that the thighs don't separate away from one another. Keep pulling those thighs in. And then if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you can bring the crown of the head towards the floor, keeping the hands where they are by the feet, still pressing the elbows into the floor. Opening the heart, opening the throat. In this variation of fish pose, kind of a combination of hero pose and fish pose, by opening the throat and really pressing the crown of the head into the floor. Your drishti, your point of focus, can be your third eye. Inhaling into the ribs, separating the ribs away from one another, feeling the chest grow. And exhale. If your head is on the floor, press with your elbows into the floor without bringing your neck up. Keep the head back. Keep pressing yourself back into hero pose. The head is the last to come up. Bring the hands a little bit forward. Cross at the ankles. And then gently shift your weight towards the back. Bring your hands behind your thighs, lowering yourself down. With your hands, just gently pulling the knees in towards your chest. And then separating the knees away from one another. Pulling the knees back, extending the arms, pulling the knees in towards your belly. Creating these circular motions, you can begin to also incorporate rotations of the ankles and the toes. Returning to that fluid breath. That sensation of water just traveling through your body, involving the water, the movement of the flow, change the direction of the circles, of the rotations. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, pull the knees in towards your belly. Inhale, press the belly into the top of the thighs. And exhale, release. Release the arms, release the legs, coming into Shavasana. Taking as much time here as you possibly can. Feeling the movement of all of the liquid going through your body. Thank you very much for practicing with me today, and I will see you next time.